So, yeah, I love that we're doing this today. I think this is really neat. We've got this new puppy. Her name is Willow. We've had her a week, so I guess that makes her 5 weeks old. And you've offered graciously to give us a little puppy reading, and I accept. And I think it'd be really neat to talk about her design. I like the idea that you're going to contrast it with mine because we're going to have a relationship obviously here, and then
You
sharing it with,
obviously do already.
yeah, she's a good girl. Um, Sharing it with my family will be neat. Sharing it with the breeder, she's lovely, and they had 12 puppies, and like even those folks, basically it's going to be their pups are going to be very similar, right? The time they were born, give or take 10 minutes from some of the other puppies.
10 minutes in a puppy's birth time is a lot.
Really?
Because remember, the animal's chart is based on the moon, not the sun.
Okay. Oh, okay. Interesting.
So once I share my screen and we start talking about Willow and what it is I'm looking at, I'll explain what I'm looking at.
Yeah, please do. And so maybe for if other folks that have puppies from the same litter, there are themes, obviously. Like overall, these puppies are born similar, right? Isn't there?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, fair
I've
enough.
never looked at all well, I did look at the kittens we had in a litter,
Right.
and quite different.
Really, eh? That's so amazing. Okay.
I mean,
Well,
that's where I got my calculation. Remember, one of my twin kittens died at age 10 and
yeah.
the other lived to 18. So I was looking for that teeny little differential.
Hmm.
And when we're talking about the moon, we're talking about a fraction of what we're looking at for differentials on the solar side.
Right. Okay. Well, let's dig in. I think I'm going to put her behind me here for see how she does there. Get up there.
So I'm going to start by your puppy son is in gate 62.
Okay.
How could that be right? Yeah, because it's the lunar, not the solar.
Okay.
And why is it only showing? Yeah. So when we're looking at a sleep design, and my program won't print it only with the lunar. So you're going to have to ignore the solar part of it.
Okay.
Trying to move this window. Okay, so we're going to look at the lunar sleep design and the postnatal lunar sleep design. And what we see is a 12-gate matrix, which is what happens when a human goes horizontal.
Right.
And it is the dream design of a human and the dream design of the puppy. The lunar minute design is actually the sleep design of the puppy and the sleep design of the human. Willow is a fairly malleable puppy, I would say. Very tuned in and will be easy to train, I think, because she has the 60-second hexagram activated in the dream layer. So that's in a dog, what we're calling the lunar sleep layer is what she's going to be awake with.
Okay.
And the fact that she has the 62nd gate, the 57th gate, and the 27th gate you know what those mean in human design, correct?
The 57 for sure. Anything that I've got, I definitely am more attuned to. But
So I read the puppy's gait similarly to how I read a human gait, in that the hexagram is the hexagram. The meaning doesn't change. There are keynotes that we could use in terms of defining which field it's in and all of that, but it's not necessary. To keep it simple, which now we see Willow's design, and then if we look at your design, you have the 57 in common, you have the 62 in common.
Which, the 62 is new to me, right? Because in traditional human design, I didn't have it, so I haven't really even explored what that means a lot yet. But so what does the 62 mean to me? The 62, I've already heard you say that's going to make her malleable for training. And honestly, so far, I'm pretty impressed with some of the things she's picked up that we've tried with other dogs.
The 62 is your moon.
Okay.
In the prenatal lunar. So I didn't print out your sleep designs, but the fact that Willow has the 62 is a gate that, interestingly, in the Tree of Life, it's the gate that the Fool card would come in. So what does it mean? It means being in the moment. It means communicating in a telepathic way with someone. It means looking for a higher octave of energy. So when we're looking at an animal's chart, the 62 is that communication without words.
Okay.
When you use words and associate that, and I don't know if you use clicker training or not, but if you use a clicker, it's where the animal is going to know what its human wants done. And when you're in the energy frequency, it will be understandable to her. And that's why I say she's going to be relatively easy to train. Also, she has the 57, which you have. So
Yeah.
you're going to intuitively know what she needs. Now, I would assume you've already experienced that.
Yeah. Yeah, we bonded really quickly and well. And people in the house keep telling me that her whine is she needs to pee. And if that's true, she needs to pee every 10 minutes. But that's not been the sense I've had. I've been like, no, something's not acoustically, she's just making noises, not necessarily.
Well, if she's making noises, remember, she has the 62, and that gives a defined throat between the two of you. So maybe when she's whining, she needs some reassurance.
Mm-hmm. That's been my sense, actually. As soon as you said that, it's been she's only been here a week. Clearly, probably still remembers and misses mom. So a lot of detachment stuff going on right now. And that's what those whines sound like to me. So I just pick her up and, I actually just sing that Bob Marley song, Three Little Birds in Her Ear. So
in working with the charts, and I'm looking at them, and my program is pulling the composite, which is adding in part of the solar. But it may very well be that when she's relating to you, she's relating to what activates in your solar.
Okay, yeah. So if I've taken in energies from someone else, she's reacting to that because, yeah.
You know, the animals, you know, look at the chart, look at how open they are.
Yeah.
You know, she's picking up everybody's frequency. What is she going to respond to?
Right.
She's going to respond to what gives her the freedom to be herself.
Hmm.
She has the 5342, a gate that denotes freedom and the want to be independently free. So I would make sure your property is secured, so she
We
can't
just did
get
that.
out.
Yeah.
Here we have in what's called an invisible fence,
Yeah.
and we have that around our house perimeter.
Hmm.
But I would also make sure that you get her a really good recall.
What do you mean by recall?
If you call her name, she comes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. She's starting to respond. Cookies are helpful, but um, hmm.
And she has the 27. So she's going to be, she could be a service dog. What would hold her back is her independence, but the bond she's going to have with you is very strong.
Hmm.
Because the 57, you're going to communicate without words. And my guess is you already are.
Yeah.
And because you tune in, you don't have the 27.
Don't think so. Not even in the integrated vehicle.
So the fact that she has the 27 is pulling you to tune into her, to stay connected.
Hmm.
And she's going to be very bonded with you, because you're going to understand each other. That's pretty much it. You know, she does have the 28. She's going to have strong instincts for, does she have the 28? No, she does it. Well, she has the 38, and then the 28 activates in the solar, but you also get the 38 postnatally. So there's that connection with her. You don't have the 27. She's going to bring that out in you.
Okay.
And she's going to demand it of you. So if you get distracted, Sean, and pull your attention away from her, she could whine.
Okay.
She's going to be like a shadow for you. Very interesting.
Hmm.
Now, the 27 is Jupiter. The 53 is the Earth. The North Node is in the 42. 57 is South Node, and the Earth is in 62.
Okay.
So the sun didn't hit her chart. So we're only using 12 gates out of 64. So she came in karmically to you.
Oh, yeah.
So does she trigger that for you? And can you tell us how?
I mean, karmically. Like, do you mean she's returned? Her soul's returned to my life?
Either that or she's come to teach you some lessons.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say, when we picked her out of the litter, it was a Zoom call. I think she was the third dog that was shown to us, and they were all cute. So of course, but with her, she was wearing a purple collar, and I typically have a purple mohawk. Um, she had just been renamed to Willow the day that we connected with them and her. forget what her name was before. Um, and that was the name that Wendy already had chosen for a dog. So even just kind of like, here she is. And then I swear she winked at me on the call. And we had lost a golden retriever last April or May, and her name was Molly, and she was Scout's, best buddy. And I don't know, it just sort of seemed like Molly's soul returned. That's how it felt at the time. But
Well, very well could be.
mhm.
Because there is definitely the karmic link between the 5342. I mean, all of it in here, other than the Jupiter and the 27, are Earth, South Node, North Node, Earth. So it's the Earth and the nodes. And so those are grounding and karmic link, and you're communicating telepathically. So I think that she's here. See if she has any characteristics of Molly.
That's a good question. I've been kind of wondering that myself. Um,
Did
some,
Molly whine when she wanted you to do something?
it's hard to remember because that would have been 10 years ago as a puppy. But she did. One thing I remember for sure about Molly as she got older is she would nudge my arm. Like I would pet her, and the second I stopped, it was just like nudge, nudge, nudge. And it was like, okay, okay. Like she needed constant, I don't know if it was reassurance or just, but
Think of it a little bit differently. When we're looking at our animals, they keep us tuned into the collective archetypes, to the cosmic soup.
okay.
And so if maybe you were losing attention on your spiritual connection, maybe Molly was nudging you to remind you to stay tuned into it.
100%. I was lost at sea up till like a year ago. So she was definitely trying and then ran out of steam. But ironically, around that same time, like we had to put Molly down while I was in Toronto attending hypnosis training.
Oh,
So like I didn't even get to
I'm
say
going to close
goodbye.
my window with the chart because I know what the chart is.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was like just a big strain on the family last year. But something about that timing was weird. I was actually in my birthplace, like North York, Ontario at the time. And there was just so much significance about returning to that for some reason last year. Like I felt it. So when the hypnosis training came, it was like, well, there's the perfect excuse to go, So yeah, it was really sad. Like it was a big distraction dealing with walking Wendy through putting the dog down remotely and all that stuff. So it was heavy.
Was she sick when you left?
No, but it's so interesting on reflection. Like our other dog Scout here, Molly, as a golden retriever, was definitely the crazy kind. Like if you threw a ball, she would chase it until it killed her. Like even when she's panting and her tongue's 2 feet out of her mouth, she was just like ready for more. And we had to no, we're trying not to kill you. Stop. And Scout would not chase a ball. She would chase Molly and grab her by the scruff of her neck and try to slow her down. And we always used to think that she was kind of being an asshole. But looking back, I think she sensed that Molly didn't have an off switch and she was trying to do it for her. And so yeah, she was. This fella James that takes the two of them out for walks had commented that Scout's always kind of like trying to slow Molly down. And really what happened was while I was gone, she started acting really lethargically, and it turned out that there was something going on with her heart. I don't remember exactly right now, but it was basically there was fluid in there, and she was sick. And they had talked about they could do this procedure where they drain the fluid out, but she might have a heart attack. And right, so we just over the phone, it was like that. Pets have the not luxury, they have the ability to be put out of suffering if it's just not worth it, right? So that was really painful, but it was very interesting. And then just the timing, and then with this one arriving, And yeah, there are similarities when I think about it. And she is talking to me with her little lines. Um, so the 57 in my world has always been right ear acoustics. I hear things like to the point where I've now learned not to take phone calls that are important, or with people that I'm having trust issues with my left hand, because I can actually hear inflection in the voice, and I know it comes from the right ear. And so I'll either take a call on
You'd
speaker.
you'd hear it in your energy field even without the voice frequency.
Yeah, yeah. But it's somehow is the right side, like it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Would that be the same for her? Like it's still the right side? Is that an acoustic thing for her too? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
Interesting.
acoustic between the two of you, and because of the 62, you can communicate without words.
Hmm.
And she will communicate without words. She has the 27, so she's going to tune into you. And I assume you're her main person.
Might be. I'm the I'm the alpha in the house, like energetically with my design. Wendy has the channel the alpha, and I don't know if that's necessarily deemed someone an alpha, but it certainly is an energy that we both recognize. So I imagine there's a bit of that. Um, yeah, and Molly and I definitely had a bond. Like, most of the pictures I had of her as a puppy was just her lying on my lap for hours. It was the only thing that soothed.
Well, look at this. You've been holding her this whole time.
Yeah.
And I've seen you hold her numerous times when we've been on phone calls. So she's clearly bonding with you.
Yeah.
And the 5342, that sense of independence, is also something that she's going to test you on.
Yeah. So, like testing her freedom, and yeah, interesting. Well, I'm testing my own, right? So why not? um, the one thing I saw right away, or I thought I saw, like she's got a defined sacral, and I just immediately thought, would she have lots of extra sexual energy, or like be humpy? And what's interesting is the like the second day we had her, she was already humping my aunt's hand at one point, and I was like, oh, I don't recall ever seeing Molly ever hump another dog, and this dog's instincts were already. She was kind of like, whoop, there, she's gonna be a little humper. So could that be? Is there some validity to that? Would that define? Say, okay, you gotta go down first.
Well, it's the humping is the need for authority, right? It's the wanting to be on top.
Mm.
And so it could be her asserting her independence. It could be her bonding with somebody. It could
Right.
be the 27, the sacral expressing the caring for somebody by wanting to hump them. We don't know what it is in a dog.
And it's
We
all
don't know what it is exactly in her,
yeah.
but you know that she is going to be asserting her own needs and letting you know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to be unvocal about them.
Okay. So listening for her barks or her whines, and learning.
More likely nonverbal.
Okay.
She's very nonverbal.
Okay.
She doesn't have a defined throat, but
Yeah.
the whining is sacral. It's not conscious.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the humping is a way to express instinct. So look for her instincts to come out of the sacral, and look for the communication to come telepathically. Like if she's clearly looking for something to do right now.
Yeah, she's bored.
She's looking to play. She's looking, to be distracted in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Should I go? Is there more to say about her, do you think? Or,
Not
I mean,
really.
dogs are pretty
I
simple.
mean, there's 12 gates, and she doesn't have all 12 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, then I think we'll wrap that up there. That's
Okay.
Thank you. It's very interesting, and I wasn't expecting to weave me into it, but that helps too. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, I'll chop that video up later. We can just end that there.